Hey guys, this is Ghost Queen. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone! This Valentine's Day, I decided to celebrate it by collaborating with 6 other doll artists here on YouTube. There's Peachy Dolls, Clockwork Undead, Dolly Dreams Dolls, Sky the Golden, Kara Zone, and Hey Dollface. We each made a Valentine's Day themed doll for you guys to see. The links to each of these videos will be down in the description box below, so be sure to check them out after you watch this video. Now, Valentine's Day can mean a lot of things, but the main thing people tend to focus on is spending time with their loved ones, especially their significant others. I don't have one of those, obviously. But that's not a problem anymore, because what else are fictional characters for? I am incredibly lonely. If you've been following me on Instagram, by the way, follow my Instagram to see my art and be able to tell what my recent obsessions are. You will know that I've recently started playing a visual novel style game known as the ARCANA. I know I'm a bit late to the game, but let's just say that I adore this game. The visuals, the art style, the soundtrack, the story, the characters, it's just amazing. Definitely worth checking out. Speaking of characters, you can probably guess who my favorite is. Julian, I am not going to pronounce his last name because I will butcher it. I guess he's a pretty popular character with a fan base, but for good reason. His route is a very fun read, and his over-the-top yet charming personality only makes it better. Along with that, I absolutely fell in love with his outfit design. I mean, it's just beautiful. Also, have you seen his contour? Naturally, he was perfect custom doll material.
Hey Ghost, if you want to make a fictional character crush as a doll, isn't there someone else that's far more important to you that you're scheduled to make as a doll already? From another game?
Wait, there is? That's a can of worms for another time, my friend. So the doll that I'm gonna be using is a already customized Dexter Charming. Now, if you guys followed my previous channel back in 2015, I think? I seriously don't remember. Then you will have seen the unboxing video for this doll, and I did mention that I was going to customize him. And I did film the customization process, but I was terrible at filming videos back then. So it was needlessly long and didn't make any sense, so I ended up not posting it for good reason. I customized him to look like the human version of Bill Cipher. His head is over here and it looks absolutely disastrous. Yeah, I already decapitated him because I couldn't really stand to look at him. Yeah, so being my first custom doll, yeah, it's terrible, and it's been sitting on my shelf for the past, how many years? 4 to 5 years, and it's a huge eyesore, and I want to get rid of it and replace it with something that I actually will enjoy looking at. So that's why I'm going to be using this doll, and here's his hand. There's a lot of damage to his body because I didn't know what the heck I was doing back then. Like, his hands have some permanent marker on them, and they're probably really badly stained, so I'm very lucky that I am making a character that already wears gloves all the time. And I've got some of this like weird shiny stuff going on right here. I have no idea what that is, and then there's other stains over here. The face is already hopelessly stained because I use permanent marker on it, and I do know how to take it out, but being my first reroute and all, I do kind of want to keep the hair on, so I'm not going to be using this head. The head I will be using is actually off a doll that you guys know very well, and I hope you don't kill me for this, but I'm going to be using the Deuce Gorgon head that I used to customize Gladion. Mainly because this face mold just really doesn't work for him at all. Gladion is probably one of my least favorite of my recent customs, mainly because of this face mold. It just really doesn't work for him. And I already found a doll that I want to replace this head with, I just haven't bought it yet. So I will be redoing him and doing him more justice later on. I just think that this more heavily sculpted head would suit a more heavily sculpted character, such as Julian, a lot better, you know, because Gladion's just this smooth-faced anime boy. So yeah, I'll be using this head and this body to basically get rid of two dolls that I just absolutely hate looking at. And don't worry, the spare pieces aren't going to go to waste. I'll be putting them along with all the other disembodied figures in the stock box / random supplies box that this thing is. And because a lot of people online love to see other people suffer, here's the absolutely disastrous outfit that I made for him. Like, look at this. What is this garbage? It's garbage. So here I have some acetone nail polish remover, and I've also got a bunch of cotton, so I'm going to be removing this face up. You know, I prefer the smell of pure acetone over whatever the heck they scented this with, so that's saying a lot. Either way, the face-up is off, and I do notice some very, very subtle staining on the doll, but it's only on places that I'm planning to cover up with the repaint anyway, so I think we're good. As for the hands, I do know I'm going to be painting them black again, but I really don't like the texture that permanent marker gives to plastic, so I'm going to be removing it as much as possible with the acetone and then painting over them again. Is what wiping his hands down and actually even soaking them in acetone did to his hands. Literally nothing, except for they kind of turn them bluish, I guess. Kinda. Either way, I'm going to be painting his hands black again anyways. I just wanted a more acrylic paint-y look, and permanent marker can sort of seep through paint and stuff like that sometimes, so I didn't want to run the risk and removed as much as possible. Now I'm going to repaint them. I surveyed the rest of his body for damages, and it doesn't look too bad, thankfully. So now that his body is ready, I don't know why I said it like that, but I'm going to be prepping him for the clothes making process. Yes, I will be showing that as well as much as possible. I still don't like filming myself while making clothes. So, when I make clothes, after I draw the character full color, going as much as I want and stuff like that. Bleh. I can't talk today. So here's all the concept art that I made for this doll. I usually go through about 3 stages of concepts. First, I just randomly draw the character in whatever way I want, fully color it, shade it, you know, just have fun with it, get the feel of the character. By the way, if you saw this picture on Instagram, I did mention that the background is a result of staining that was happening on the paper that I wanted to cover up, and the initial stain was just this. And then I just kind of went crazy. But yeah, I thought I should share that. Anyway, that's the first stage, and then the second stage is to sketch out a brief full body. There doesn't have to be detailed, just a full body. And then the third stage, which I already started on the full body sketch, is to sort of add some notes on what I want to do and how I want to do it, as well as breaking his outfit down into manageable pieces and pretty much making notes on how and what I want to make the pieces with. And it doesn't normally go as planned, but it does help me get an idea of what kind of textures and what kind of techniques that I need to use in order to get my desired effect. Now the first thing I want to work on, which is going to take the most time, is his boots. And as you know, I use the paper mache method of making doll shoes. It was invented, I believe, by Walker Colors. I will be putting her channel link in the description below, but basically you use the doll's leg, or well, she uses like a resin cast of the doll's leg, but I don't have that. You use the leg to basically create a paper mache shell around it, and then you take it off and basically decorate it to look like a shoe. And as you can see here, I pretty much gave his boot a slight heel going on, and the shoes that this doll has been wearing does have heels, but not as much, so it basically allows him to stand flat-footed inside. And if you know, Ever After High boys have an ankle joint, not a flat foot, or well, a firm, non-jointed foot like the Ever After High girls. So this becomes a little bit more complicated. So I want to sort of point his toes in a way that would allow for the heel, kind of like that, and then sort of secure the ankle in place temporarily so that it won't move around while I cast the paper mache thing. So basically it's nothing too complicated, it's just a couple layers of masking tape over his ankle joints so that they won't move while I make the shoes. I'm not going to be going over the actual paper mache part of the whole process because Walker Colors has very detailed videos explaining on how to do it. I'll just link those in the description below and you guys can go ahead and watch that, and I'm just going to skip over that part. So here we are several hours later. I finally finished making the paper mache cast around his legs, and this took quite some time, but I was able to build up quite a few layers. It seems pretty dry all the way through. I had him basically sitting outside for as long as possible. The sun is setting now, so I can't really leave him outside for any longer. Also, today happened to be slightly warmer than most days, so I was able to get Mr. Super Clear on him, and that kind of got rid of that weird shiny patch right here on his arm, and also smoothed out some of the rough random shiny patch that was over here. I seriously don't remember what that came from. And also the sealant did mattify on his face as well, so I can get that gorgeous contour he has going on. So that should work. And now I'm just gonna remove these and go back to his clothes making process. Now I'm just gonna release his ankles from the masking tape now that the paper mache has completely dried. Now I'm going to be tracing his feet onto this paperboard, and I'm going to be making the soles of the shoes. So here I have all the little cardstock pieces. I peeled off the shiny layer so that it's easier to stick them together and I can reduce a little bit of the bulk. I'm going to take a piece of wire, glue it down the middle, and then sandwich it with the other piece, and then glue those two together. Now that we've got our wired in sole thingies, I'm just going to bend them in the shape of a high heel. I have the paper mache cast as a reference just to see how much of an incline I need. Have my little heel thingy-mobobs. I'm just gonna take a needle and poke a hole in the heel section. Yeah, just poke a hole in there. There is a wire in there, so there are some places that can't be poked. Just move it a bit to the side and find a place that you can poke, and just poke the needle through, and do not stab yourself. I then take a sewing needle that's slightly thicker than the pin, place it through the hole, and then just sort of push it through to widen the hole enough for the wire to go through. Then I'm going to place a cut piece of the wire, push it through the hole, all the way through to the bottom and then hot glue that in place. Now this part can ruin the incline a little bit. It basically made these into stilettos, but you can fix that later. Now you just want to glue these onto the actual boots while fixing the incline as needed, and then just roughly just tack it on. This is the wrong side. So now I'm just gonna take my pliers here, which I probably should have used much earlier, line it up with the toe of the shoe, and then snip off the rest of the wire. That was a bit hard to see, so I'm gonna do it again, because I cut the wire a little bit too long by accident. So have the flat end of the pliers touch the toe, push it forward so that the cut part of the pliers is holding the wires, and then just cut off the excess wire. And now you should have a pretty level shoe, just like this. And now I'm just going to take my hot glue gun and fill in all of the gaps and smooth in over the rough edges. So now I'm just gonna mix up some epoxy putty, and I'm gonna basically use that as clay to finish up his shoes. Now I'm going to trim off the rough edge on these boots to give them a little bit more of a finished look. So here I have the tops just clean and just as level as possible. I tried to make both boots the same height. I'm pretty sure this is the closest I'm gonna get with these. So now let's move on to some other details. First things first, here in the sketch and in his actual canon artwork, he has this sort of cutout at the front of his boots, and I need to make that while not making it too far down that his skin gets exposed. So I'm gonna have to use his pants as a measuring guide. Now I am showing the process of making the boots first, but I have been making other things as I wait for things to dry and such, so his pants are already done at this point. So I'm just going to use it as a measuring guide for how far I want the cutout to go. Now, just like I did for Arya, I'm going to take this thick piece of elastic and I'm going to be sewing it onto the back along with a snap-on button so that they can tightly be closed in the back. Now I'm going to take my hot glue gun and basically go over the entire boot and then smooth out the glue so that none of these wrinkles show up when I paint it. From my research, most plague doctors wear leather boots, and I do think some of the wrinkles can stay, but I don't want all of them. These boots are on my fingers for literally no reason, but I was able to go over them with the hot glue and they are a whole lot smoother. So now they're ready for the paint. I blame Hexgen for my obsession with red bottom shoes. Like seriously, why does he have to make it look so freaking satisfying? This tube of paint is super old. But honestly, I think it's fine in this case because I need a pop of color and I also need some more red in his outfit aside from his cape. And also, you know, to add to the whole drama effect. Yes, there is more detail that I need to add. I need to add this little weird... whatever the heck that is. And I did consider making it out of pleather, but I decided I want to make it out of craft foam, so I'll have a little bit more control over how it bends and things like that. Pleather is a little bit harder to manipulate and also to change the color of, so that's why I'm going to be using the craft foam. I'm going to sketch out a pattern for the piece in paper before tracing it onto the craft foam, cutting out 2 for both pairs of boots, and then decorating them and attaching them. Finally, I'm just gonna make those little overlapping these thingies. I have no idea what they're called, but I'm making them anyway. I'm just gonna sketch out a basic shape of what I want, and then I'm just gonna put it on. Oh wow, with this footage alone, this video is already over half an hour long. This is ridiculous. I'm gonna be splitting this video into as many parts as I need. Hopefully, you guys won't mind that. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye!